Watch out, everyone! Here comes Craig, the teacher's pet!
I hated having to walk past the cool kids. They always had something to tease me about. It wasn't my fault I was a clever kid. Didn't mean they had the right to call me a nerd. But they always did. I tried to ignore them all, but as I tried to get past them, one of the boys stuck out his foot and tripped me up. I went flying in the air and landed flat on my face. Everyone started laughing and jeering loudly. But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Then you could become king of your school too. The cool kids just walked away, still laughing as they went. I sat there on the floor, tears pouring down my cheeks. I knew people were staring at me, but I couldn't stop crying. I'd been miserable for weeks from their constant teasing, and this had been the final straw. As I sat there sobbing, I suddenly felt someone put their arms around me. I looked up and saw a pretty girl standing beside me.
Are you okay? Come on, stand up.
She held out her hand to me, and when I took hold of it, she pulled me to my feet.
Just ignore them. They think they're so cool. But actually, they're just mean.
Thanks, I know you're right, but it just gets to you after a while.
Yeah, I know, but you'll be fine. The best thing to do is to stay out of their way, then they'll forget about you.
I usually do, but today I was daydreaming, and before I knew it, they were right in front of me.
You're not hurt, are you?
No, I'm fine. Just my pride that got hurt.
Well, don't think about it anymore. And as for the cool kids, they'll get their karma one day. People like that always do in the end.
I felt so much better after talking to her. She was so nice. After our first meeting, I started noticing her all around school. It seemed like everywhere I went, she was there. I saw her in the cafeteria. Then I saw her walking out of the school gates. I don't know why, but I had a strange feeling that she was my destiny or something. I mean, why else would fate keep on throwing us together? I asked around and found out that her name was Lucy. She was single and apparently a really friendly girl. I really wanted her to notice me, and I thought that if she thought I was a really generous person, then she would like me. So whenever I was anywhere near her, I would always be really extravagant. Hey, does anyone want anything from the shop? I'm just gonna buy a Coke. My shop.
Yeah, man, thanks. Get me some candy. I'll have a Sprite. Yeah, me too.
It cost me a fortune, but I didn't care. After all, once I got my girl, I could stop spending money around school. It was the end of the week when I decided to try my luck. All week I'd been buying things for everyone, and I felt sure that Lucy had seen me. But I had to come up with something to really impress her. I put out some flyers telling everyone to come to school at 7 p.m. on Friday night for a special performance. All week, there had been a buzz about school. Everyone was curious to know what the special performance would be. I had everything set up and waiting. 7 p.m. came, and I put a match to the wick. The flame burnt along the wick until it reached the end. Suddenly, fireworks went shooting up into the sky, red, white, and blue flames shooting everywhere. The crowd started gasping and squealing with delight. As each firework lit up the sky, all I could hear were oohs and ahs coming from all around me. Rockets began launching left, right, and center, leaving behind them a trail of glittering lights. Catherine wheels spun, sending flames and smoke out far into the night. As the last sparks fell to the ground and the smoke drifted away, I walked out and stood in front of everyone. And now for the grand finale. I lit a match and set fire to the fuse of the last display. Within seconds, the sky was lit up with fireworks, and the fireworks spelling out the words, "Will you go out with me, Lucy?" Everyone fell silent and all eyes turned to look at Lucy. Well, Lucy, what's your answer? She looked at me, but she didn't say anything. Lucy?
I'm sorry, Craig. The answer is no.
Everyone started laughing. I couldn't believe it. I had gone to all that trouble for nothing. I'd embarrassed myself and everyone had witnessed it. I just wanted the ground to open up and swallow me. But do you think that happened? No, of course it didn't. Instead, I just mumbled something about having to get home and ran off. When I got home, I just sat in my bedroom feeling sorry for myself. I hate my life. Why do I have to be such a nerd? Why can't I be like Jack? Jack was the king of the school. You know, one of those kids that just has everything. It just wasn't fair. He had the looks and the physique, and he was intelligent too. Me, on the other hand, I'm just a skinny little squirt. I don't have anything going for me. Well, I mean, I know I'm intelligent, but nobody would describe me as good looking. So basically, the only thing I have going for me is my brain. So how am I going to gain the other features that Jack has? As I sat there thinking about my situation, it suddenly came to me. I knew exactly what I needed to do. It was genius. I don't know why I hadn't thought about it before. I would build myself a robot. The more I thought about it, the more I knew it was the perfect solution. If I could make a robot about 6 foot tall, I would easily be able to hide inside it. So I set to work to make the perfect specimen. It was tall with huge abs and a perfect face. I gave it a deep male voice and the trendiest hairstyle. When it was finished, I climbed inside to try it out. It fit inside perfectly. I was so excited. I couldn't wait to go to school. Monday morning, I climbed inside the robot and walked to school. When I got there, everyone started being really friendly to me. Even the cool kids said hi when they saw me. It felt really good to be inside the robot. So this is how it must feel to be a good-looking Chad. Of course, I had to pretend to be a new kid. I came up with this story about moving from another state. So when anyone asked, I just said my dad had got a new job and he had recently moved here. It didn't take long for me to make friends. Everyone was so nice to me and I soon became really popular. But there was one person who I could tell didn't really like me. That was Jack. Right from day one, I could sense that he wasn't very keen on me. I mean, it wasn't like he had actually said anything bad, it was more a kind of feeling. I guess he probably thought of me as some kind of competition for his king of the school title. I didn't think too much about Jack, to be honest. I had someone more important on my mind, Lucy. I bumped into Lucy in the cafeteria one day and we started chatting. She was being really flirty with me, giggling and fluttering her eyelashes at me.
You're new here, aren't you? What's your name?
Yes, I'm new. I'm Rick.
Hi, Rick.
My heart started beating 10 to the dozen. Oh my God, I think she likes me. Another time I was in history class and Lucy came over to my desk.
Hey, Rick.
Oh, hi there, Lucy.
Anyone sitting there?
I looked at the seat next to me. Oh, yes. Yes, you can sit there. Oh my God, she must think I'm a bumbling fool. I thought that she would laugh and walk off, but instead she sat down next to me and whispered in my ear.
I usually hate history, but something tells me I'm going to enjoy today's lesson.
I didn't want to jinx things, but I started to think that maybe I might finally get my chance with Lucy. But then something unexpected happened. I was playing tennis one afternoon when I saw Jack standing watching me. Hey bro, what's up?
We should have a match. Whoever wins is the best man.
I really didn't want to play against Jack, but I couldn't back out of the challenge or people would see me as weak. Sure, just name the day.
Next Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock.
Great, see you then. I was so nervous the day of the match, even though Jack had said the winner would be the best man. I knew that what he actually meant was the winner would be the king of the school. There was a lot riding on that match. I got to the tennis court and started warming up. I couldn't believe that pretty much the whole of the school had turned up to watch. Suddenly, everyone started clapping and cheering. I looked up to see Jack walking onto the court. Hi.
Hi.
We shook hands and the match began. Jack was a strong player and I knew it would be difficult to beat him. We hit the ball back and forth. He would gain a point and then I would gain one. It was neck and neck right through to the final set. I could feel the tension from the crowd as we began to play our last rally. Jack hit the ball and I raced to try to reach it. I didn't think I would make it, but at the last second, I lunged forward and felt my racket connect with the ball. I watched as the ball sailed over the net and into the corner of the court. Jack tried to reach it, but he just couldn't quite make it. The crowd let out a huge roar and everyone started clapping and shouting my name. Jack's face was like thunder. He didn't look happy at all. But I was overjoyed. I felt so emotional, especially when I saw Lucy's face through the crowd. She had a huge grin on her face and was clapping and cheering loudly. I felt so powerful and invincible at that moment. I didn't think anyone or anything would ever hurt me again, but I hadn't anticipated what would happen next. As I stood there being congratulated by everyone, suddenly there was a clap of thunder and the heavens opened. Rain came pouring down on all of us. I tried to run to shelter, but I'd only taken a couple of steps when sparks started flying out of the robot and it short-circuited. I had no choice. I had to get out of it. The entry point into the robot was through the butt. As I started climbing out, everyone began screaming.
Look, something is climbing out of Rick's butt.
Oh my God, is it like an alien or something? What's going on? Oh.
Hold on, isn't that Craig?
Everyone turned to look at me.
Yeah, you're right, it is Craig.
Then people began to realize the truth.
Oh God, it was Craig all along. He hid himself inside a robot.
What a loser.
Craig, why would you trick us all? Rick was such a cool kid, but he didn't really exist.
They all started looking really sad when they realized that it had been me all along. But to be honest, I didn't care what any of them thought. There was only one person's opinion that I cared about, and that was Lucy's. I began to search the crowd, trying to find her face. I was worried that she might have left, but I didn't need to. I felt a tap on my shoulder, and when I turned around, guess who was standing behind me? Lucy. Lucy, you're not mad at me, are you?
No, Craig, I'm not mad. I can see why you would want to pretend to be someone else.
My heart skipped a beat and I let out a sigh of relief. Oh, thank goodness. I thought that you wouldn't want anything to do with me. I looked around me. Even though I was surrounded by people who seemed to hate me, I knew that it was the perfect time to ask Lucy out again. Lucy, will you go out with me, now that you see looks aren't everything? I held my breath and waited for what seemed like an eternity. Eventually, Lucy opened her mouth to speak.
No way! You lied to everyone, including me. Besides, I don't care too much about looks. It's the personality that counts.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My heart was broken. All that effort that I had gone to, and I still didn't get the girl. I suddenly realized that I'd been doing things all wrong. I guess I need to start changing the way I view things.